What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we're watching Charlotte Saiyan. What if Vegeta stayed evil? Part 6 and 7. And yeah, this story got pretty good. The Universe 6 got the Earth. So remember that from last time. That Vegeta's back from being locked up, or not locked up, but fuck. Damn, Mafuba, shit, whatever he did. Yeah, and yeah, let's get into it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man.
Goku and everyone else on Earth gets adjusted to life in Universe 6. Thankfully, there's not too many big changes because most of them stay on Earth regardless. The biggest change is that Goku's going to be with Vados and Champa training now. It's a really good thing he was able to convince them to let him train there. And of course, Vados knows all the same things as Whis, and since she's his older sister, she's probably an even better teacher. At least she considers herself one. She also doesn't really know much about Goku, so she does need to learn a little bit about that first. And he noticed Champa's really similar to Beerus. Beerus is kind of lazy, and so is Champa. Although, unlike Beerus, he didn't have a dream about a Super Saiyan god, so this is the first time he's even thinking of having a true rival. Although he does have to think about a successor at some point, so maybe Goku could be an option for that. What he doesn't realize is that Goku doesn't plan on staying here, of course, and even if he did, he wouldn't want to be a god of destruction. Goku would prefer to be in Universe 7 again, because even though Earth is here, he still has a bunch of other friends in Universe 7 that he won't ever get to see again. Plus, anyone who died still is there. Not that it matters right now because he's not going to see them anytime soon, but for example, Grandpa Gohan's still in Universe 7, which Goku didn't really consider at first, but now he's realizing that a lot of the things are left behind. The wish was just to transport Earth, not everyone that was ever on Earth. Although he can make the most of being in Universe 6 because he knows there's other Saiyans here. Now, he's not really too concerned about the Saiyans like Vegeta might be, for example. Although as far as he knows, Vegeta has no clue that the other universes are out there. But he is curious. There might be some other strong Saiyans out there, and since they're actually good in this universe, it wouldn't hurt to visit planet Sadala at some point. So he's going to train up a little bit more, just so Vados knows what she's working with, and then he'll ask to go to planet Sadala. He's sure that Champa would be up for that anyways because Goku going to Sadala would mean all the Saiyans there will grow stronger. But what's going on in Universe 7? Well, actually kind of a lot. First off, no time travel in this scenario means that there's no Zamasu stuff, thankfully. Beerus is trying to plan on what his next move is. Of course, he has to wait another year for the Super Dragon Balls to be active again, but once they are active, he plans to get them. It's going to take a little bit of time, he's not just going to get them instantly, but he'll start his own search for them, and simply wish for Earth back. It would be great if Champa comes around and actually helps transport it back, but he doubts that's going to happen. Although he knows that once he wishes Earth back, Champa's going to start a big fight with him, so he'll have to deal with that. He might need to train a bit more in the meantime, because Champa is still pretty powerful. The issue is, Beerus doesn't really have a rival. I mean, there still is Vegeta out there, but he's not really sure. Vegeta doesn't even have Godly Ki as far as he knows. And he's too much of a loose cannon. He doesn't want to train up Vegeta and make him even stronger than he already is. Speaking of Vegeta, what's going on with him? Well, Vegeta's completely unopposed right now. His empire continues expanding. It's not like he was opposed before, but he did kind of unconsciously avoid Goku's area of the universe because he never knew when Goku might get involved and become an issue. But the universe is a big place after all. It's not like he had any shortage of places to take over. So his empire expands and his army continues to grow further and further.
Right.
But at the same time, he gets rid of some people that are kind of dead weight to him. For example, he knows the Frieza Force used to work with a group called the Heaters. They're planet brokers. Thing is, he has no use for them anymore. He could do all of their work more quickly and more effectively. Unlike Frieza, he doesn't mind having to actually put in the effort here. He loves fighting. He'll gladly clear out planets himself. Plus, he knows that the Heaters are probably plotting something against him. He's kept an eye on them recently. And he's not stupid. He could tell they didn't like Frieza, and they don't like him. So, he simply gets rid of them, visiting the Heaters one day and killing them all. They were too big of a liability, so he's not going to deal with that. Of course, Granola eventually hears about this. He's continuing his normal work, and he did work under the Heaters until they were killed by Vegeta. Now, he's known about Vegeta for a while, and he's resented him for a while too. The thing is, the Heaters kind of kept him in check though. After all, Vegeta is a Saiyan and controls what used to be the Frieza Force. Frieza's gone, but not Vegeta. Vegeta's an obvious target for him, especially because he used to be the royalty of planet Vegeta. And he knows that it was Frieza's fault and King Vegeta's fault, but the blame also lies on Prince Vegeta for what happened to planet Cereal. He holds resentment towards all Saiyans, and as far as he knows, Vegeta is the only one left, and a very worthy target of his resentment. And now with the Heaters gone, it makes him worried that Vegeta's going to find out about him. But there's also an upside to this. With the Heaters gone, Granola could work on his own, making more money, and he has complete free reign to do whatever he wants. Which means he can go after the Dragon Balls of planet Cereal. He's going to do it. He's going to grow stronger, and then go after Vegeta. So, he eventually seeks out the Dragon Balls on his planet, making the same wish as normal. He wishes to become the strongest in the universe. Now, there's one big thing about this wish that I think a lot of people forget. This wish actually didn't just make Granola stronger than everyone else, but it gave him a lot of the abilities of other people too. Now, it didn't do big changes like give him transformations like Saiyans, but it gave him a bunch of techniques from Goku and Vegeta, for example. Even Moro too. We see him have access to Hakai's. He could use instant transmission. He could use cloning like Goku did. And later on when Gas makes the same wish, he's able to do the same things. But again, it's not biological changes like giving Gas Granola's eyesight. So this wish also gives him the abilities of the strongest. So what about Vegeta's immortality? Would that be considered an ability here? It's not something he was intrinsically born with, and it's not necessarily a technique, but it's definitely something that's a big part of him by this point. Plus, it's not like Taranbo can't grant immortality. I mean, all the dragons basically can, and Taranbo granted a pretty big wish in general. The reason I'm mentioning all this is because it makes me wonder if Granola would be able to get immortality as part of this wish too, because it is a part of Vegeta after all. The thing is, this would also kind of counteract the wish anyways, because losing a part of his life wouldn't matter. But he's also making this wish so much earlier on in the story, and there's not many strong people to draw from, that I don't think he would lose much of his life anyways. Right now, from what Taranbo could tell, the strongest in the universe is Goku, because by the point he makes this wish, it's about a week before the Universe 6 tournament. But Goku's weaker in this scenario than normal, and again, we're before the Universe 6 tournament. So he's strong, but not nearly as strong as he was in the Granola arc. So it wouldn't take off much of his lifespan anyways. And I'm also going to say here that when Taranbo grants the wish, he does get immortality as part of it. Because after all, what's the point of making him the strongest if he can't even contend with Vegeta? It's not just that though. He gets all the abilities of the strongest people that Taranbo draws from as well. But he doesn't strike immediately. He waits a bit to prepare, because obviously he knows Vegeta's immortal by now. It's a rumor that's been spread around the entire universe, and he heard this from the Heaters too. Apparently there's merit to it. Years ago this was just kind of an urban legend. He wished for immortality to defeat Frieza, but by now a lot of people have realized that's actually true. Everyone knows Vegeta's immortal, including Granola. So even though he has a lot of power, it's not really going to matter if he can't actually kill Vegeta. But he still does need the power to back himself up. Even if he finds a way to defeat Vegeta, he still needs to be strong enough to actually face him, because otherwise, Vegeta just one-shots him. So he takes the time to prepare. A few months go by. For his main base of operations, Vegeta has a new planet. It's the place he's at most often, when he's not active at least. And a lot of people know about this base, including Granola. One day the base is ambushed. Vegeta's not really too sure what's happening, but this isn't anything new. A lot of people want to go after him and fight his army. But something's different this time. It's not like his soldiers are particularly strong or anything, but whoever's here on the base, they're killing Vegeta's soldiers like it's nothing. So Vegeta decides to check it out, getting involved himself. And Vegeta then encounters the intruder, not recognizing him at all. He and Granola lock eyes, and the second they see each other, Granola lifts his hand up, launching a powerful beam right through his head, and then lifting up his other hand, launching a bunch of beams at other vital points on Vegeta. If Vegeta weren't immortal, this would kill him immediately. He falls to the ground temporarily, but then gets back up. He's impressed. Granted, he was off guard, and it's not like he's transformed right now, but still. It's been a while since he encountered someone that could damage him that easily, but he brushes it off. Because again, he wasn't really trying there. He guesses Granola's here to assassinate him. I mean, obviously. He has no clue who this guy is, but he'll let him know how this is going to go. He's going to try and kill Vegeta, nothing's going to work because he's immortal, and then Vegeta's going to kill him. Although, he does seem powerful, so maybe he can enjoy the fight here a bit. This just angers Granola even more, but this is expected. He just wanted to truly test if Vegeta was immortal. That's fine to him. He is immortal, but he can still feel pain and be injured. He knew this wasn't going to be easy, but he doesn't care. He powers up more, and Vegeta's actually a little bit taken aback. Granola starts fighting him, and Vegeta barely gets a moment to breathe. Quickly he's able to power up during the battle, transforming into Super Saiyan 2. But even then it's not enough. Granola's still far stronger than him. Who is this guy? So he kicks it up a notch, transforming once more, with a fiery red aura surrounding him. Vegeta turns into his Super Saiyan God. He was sealed away by Gohan, but when he regenerated, he still had the energy of Goku flowing through him, both from his attacks and his paralysis. Goku didn't really know how to control his energy at that point because he just unlocked the form. So each time he attacked Vegeta, his energy was channeled into Vegeta as well. So he was sealed alongside that same godly ki. And after all that time being sealed away, well, he was basically sealed in a container full of godly ki. He was doing mental training during that time as well. And after doing some physical training once he was finally freed, he found this power deep within him. Thus, Vegeta did unlock Super Saiyan God. He doesn't have Blue just yet, but he has this form, the same one Kakarot used to defeat him. Granola can tell he's pretty strong and this is his full power. Normally Vegeta wouldn't ask this, but he wants to know who Granola is. Clearly he's powerful and he has some gripe with Vegeta personally. What is it? Did he take over one of his planets? Kill one of his friends? He honestly lost track of everything, so it's not like he's going to know this guy. So Granola explains. And Vegeta knows nothing about the Cerealians besides stories he heard. The attack on that planet happened way before he was even active, much less leading this army. But it makes sense. Granola wants someone to blame, and he hates all the Saiyans. But if he knows Vegeta's immortal, how did he expect to kill him? Sure, Granola's powerful, and he wonders if he could stand up to Super Saiyan God. The two continue fighting, and he can actually stand up to this form. He actually is still stronger than Vegeta by this point. But then, Vegeta tries something out. He didn't expect Granola to be this powerful, so he then grabs onto him, then launches him into space with Granola. He doesn't know if Granola can even survive in space, but that's not going to matter regardless, because as they rocket into space, he then blows himself up using the final explosion. Even with the gap in power, this should be enough to injure Granola at least. And it does. It destroys most of him, but then he regenerates. Granola doesn't give away the fact that he wished for this power, nor the fact that he became immortal from this wish, but Vegeta could plainly see that he's also immortal. So he sees what happened here. Granola wished for immortality too, just to challenge him. He's surprised. No one else has been able to do that. Of course, they would need Earth's Dragon Balls or Namek's Dragon Balls. But surely Kakarot and his friends on Earth wouldn't have let anyone do that. And as for Namek, well, as far as Vegeta knows, that planet is completely gone and all the Namekians are dead besides Piccolo. So there must be another set of Dragon Balls out there somewhere. Interesting. He'll keep that in mind. But Granola's had enough of this fight. He did get a little bit too ahead of himself and was trying to fight Vegeta, but there's no point in doing that. He'll finish this for good. It's a good thing he made the wish at the time he did, because he also got a lot of Goku's powers as well, including one particular ability that could help. This is why he took some time to practice before attacking Vegeta directly. He wanted to see what he was truly capable of now, and now he knows. He
What he
sticks
about
out
to
a
do?
hand, using all of his ki to paralyze Vegeta. Then with his other hand, he pulls something out from his pocket, and Vegeta's eyes widen when he sees this. A small container, exactly what Gohan used to seal him away. As part of the wish, Granola also now knows the Mafuba. Telekinetically, he holds the container though. They are still out in space after all, and he tries to perform the Mafuba. This time, Vegeta tries to wiggle his way out of it, but at the very last moment, he performs a final explosion instead. He did it basically on instinct, not knowing what else to do. It's not like he had a direct counter for the Mafuba, but granted, it is also kind of hard for Granola to perform it and let Vegeta stay in one place at the same time. At least with Goku and Gohan, one could hold Vegeta while the other performed the technique. Here Granola was just performing it himself, and while he was caught up in the wave of the attack, Vegeta still was able to blow himself up, destroying the container in the process, and also knocking
Man, this
Granola
nigga.
over. He has to admit, that was a pretty good plan, and he didn't expect that to happen. But he's not going to be sealed away that easily again. They're interrupted. Someone stands between them. It's Beerus. He's impressed to see Vegeta's a god as well, and as for this other mortal, he knows how he got that power. Granola has no clue who Beerus is, and Vegeta's just wondering why he's even here in the first place. Well, as Vegeta might know, Earth is gone now, which includes his rival Goku. So he has a proposition for Vegeta. He plans on doing another tournament with Champa's universe. Of course, he's going to have to wait, but that's good, because he has more than enough time to train. And he's going to need a powerful team for that. And in the meantime, he will also need a rival to train himself. So, he wants to bring Vegeta to his planet. And as for Granola, well, he seems like a pretty strong mortal too, so why not bring him along? Again, Granola has no clue who this guy is, and he says he's simply just here to kill Vegeta. Well, Beerus lets him know it's impossible. He should know that too because he's immortal as well. Unless Granola gets the Super Dragon Balls and reverses his wish, or Vegeta reverses himself for some reason, then Vegeta will not die. He could try and seal him away again, but Vegeta's smarter than that. And you know what? Vegeta doesn't care about the fight anymore. Sure, he'd rather go train with Beerus and get stronger that way. It could be fun fighting Granola more, but this is a better opportunity. Although, he can't just leave Granola behind because then he'll just destroy his entire army. This just leaves Granola completely dumbfounded because this random dude just shows up, and now Vegeta's gonna train under him for some reason? He's not even really taking this fight seriously, is he? So he asks Beerus, if he goes to this planet, will he be able to fight Vegeta some more? And more importantly, kill him if he gets the chance? Beerus thinks about it for a second. And he knows Granola's not gonna be able to kill him, so he says, yeah, if you find a way to kill Vegeta, he'll allow it. But then Granola learns more about who Beerus is, and he doesn't really have a choice here. So he agrees to go along. Beerus is going to be more than prepared for the next tournament, although there is one big issue. He doesn't realize Zeno's eventually going to prepare a tournament of his own, one that will also have the Super Dragon Balls as a prize. But we'll have to save that for next time. This is where we'll leave off. He's getting pretty adjusted to
Part
life in
7.
Universe
What if
6.
Vegeta
He's been
stayed
training under
evil?
Vados more, and he's pretty much back into his normal routine. But now he's kind of curious. He remembers that Saiyan Kaba and wants to know if there's any other Saiyans like him, because he did hear about Sadala, and he knows that there are Saiyans here in this universe still, but he wonders if they're all just like him and actually good. And yeah, apparently Sadala is actually a good place. And knowing what he knows about Saiyans, he knows that they're pretty strong warriors, so of course Goku wants to go there. It's not that he cares about the Saiyans specifically, it's more the fact that it'll be a good opportunity to fight. Champa's not really too sure, but Vado says that it could be a good idea because, you know, that means the rest of the universe could grow stronger too. Imagine if Goku teaches them the secrets of Super Saiyan and such. Universe 6's mortal level is pretty low, and this could help raise it if they have a really strong planet full of Super Saiyans. And you know what? Champa instantly agrees to that. Sure, he can go over there. So, that meeting's set up. For the first time, Goku is taken to planet Sadala by Vados. And he basically has free reign to do whatever over here. Cab was told to expect him, and then he relayed that information and eventually got to King Sadala. He's pretty interested because he's never met a Saiyan from another universe before, so it could be an interesting experience. Goku briefly meets King Sadala, although there's not really too much of note because, I mean, Goku's Goku. He's not going to be the most formal person, but King Sadala at least finds it amusing. Although it's pretty shocking to learn what the Universe 7 Saiyans are like. Apparently they're all ruthless warriors, and most of them are dead. The only ones alive are Goku, Vegeta, and Goku's kids. Well, as far as Goku knows. It's despicable to think that the ruler of the Saiyans in that universe is like that. But Goku at least is a good example, and he's welcome here anytime. So now Goku spends some time with Kaba, and Kaba of course wants to learn more about Super Saiyan and such. Because Goku doesn't just have Super Saiyan, he has forms beyond that. So they go in the middle of nowhere to spar. And then two other people show up. They heard that someone important was visiting, and apparently he's pretty powerful. It's Caulifla and Kale. Caulifla wanted to check it out, and she basically dragged Kale along with her. So they watch from a distance as Goku and Kappa fight, and then Goku shows off Super Saiyan. Goku was so focused on his sparring with Kappa that he didn't even notice the powers nearby, which he now senses. So he teleports over to them. He tells the two they don't need to watch from far away. They could join in the sparring match if they want. Kappa's not really too familiar with either of them right now, so he's not really too sure why they're here. He only knows Caulifla vaguely because of her brother, and Kale's basically new to him. But Goku ends up learning who they are, and he says that they're welcome to join too. Kappa's able to pull off Super Saiyan, which really surprises Goku. He's not really sure how to teach it to the other two though. Caulifla gets really excited about this, and of course, she keeps asking Goku questions about it, which ends up making Kale more jealous about it. He's hogging all the attention, and essentially what happened in the Tournament of Power probably would happen here too, where Kale would get really mad about it, and end up losing control and eventually transforming inadvertently. Yeah, I know what everyone thinks about the Universe X Saiyans, but I mean, they transformed really easily in the story, so I'm gonna go with the same thing here.
Right.
And her Super Saiyan is of course very different. She's completely berserk. Goku's never seen a Super Saiyan with green hair before, and she's way stronger than a regular Super Saiyan. Goku has to transform even further, eventually getting a bit serious too, but he's able to stop her. He didn't want it to go like that, but he didn't really have a choice. Honestly, he's never seen anything like that, so he's not too sure what else to do. But he's gonna stay here a little bit longer. He wants to see more of that weird form and see if he could actually help her tame it. Not to mention, Caulifla still hasn't unlocked Super Saiyan yet, and he finds these three Saiyans in particular interesting. You know, it might be about time Goku takes on some students, so this could be a fun opportunity. Goku doesn't end up going back to Vados for a while, but somebody else is there. In the time that he's been in Universe 6, another rival emerged for Goku, Piccolo. Of course, they've been rivals for a while, but that kind of fell off. Piccolo spent a lot of time with Gohan training, mainly whenever Goku's off the planet, so he has grown stronger, but it's not like he's on the level of Goku or Gohan for that matter. Goku did eventually want to find Hit again and maybe have him as a rival, but Hit's not really focused on that. He has his jobs to worry about. Although Champa and Vados did find it interesting that a Namekian was on Earth, so they decided maybe they should look into him a little bit more. From what they could tell, he's stronger than any of the Namekians in this universe. Plus, he still hasn't fused with Kami yet. By this point, he realizes that it's probably for the best that he does so, and he eventually does do that. It doesn't give him a major boost in power, but at least reunites him and makes him the nameless Namekian again. But this created a series of events that led to Piccolo eventually visiting Namek and learning more about what that's like in this universe. Basically out of curiosity. He feels really far behind, and maybe this new universe could be an opportunity to get ahead. Eventually that led to him going to Champa's planet, sparring with Goku a bit, and of course he's not nearly as strong as Goku's strongest forms, but by this point, he became stronger
Piccolo
than
in the
Super
story,
Saiyan
man,
Goku,
come on.
which Champa did find kind of impressive, and same for Vados. And Piccolo asked to be trained there. He basically pulls what Goku did with Beerus and gives them food as an offering. And Champa says as long as Piccolo brings him more food, sure, he could train here. So now Piccolo's been growing stronger too.
Alright,
This is not
Piccolo.
only for himself, but also, once they're back in Universe 7, he wants to be strong enough to actually fight against Vegeta. He really felt like he couldn't do anything, and he doesn't want to feel that way again. Not to mention, maybe he could figure out a way around Vegeta's immortality if he tries to train himself. He hasn't really been focused on that too much. It's mostly been Goku and Gohan fighting Vegeta here. Plus, after going to Namek, Piccolo learned more about making a set of Dragon Balls for himself after merging with Kami, because Kami had the power to do so, so that power still locked away within him somewhere. He just needed to figure out how to make it happen again. And one thing he remembered is that Guru was able to unlock potential on Namek, which he never got done to him. And on this Namek, the Elder is able to do the same exact thing, unlocking Piccolo's potential and making him far stronger. So Piccolo's had a huge jump in power too. But let's go back over to Universe 7. Vegeta and Granola train on Beerus' planet, and they don't really get along too well. Beerus has no clue of what to do next. And to make things worse, Zeno eventually announces the Tournament of Power. Great. They need to get 10 fighters together. They're not going to find anyone for that. Vegeta gets a little too overconfident and says they're not really going to need any strong fighters either. It could just be him and Granola, and maybe they can get some of his soldiers to fill the rest of the team. But Beerus says they need at least one more strong person. He doesn't want to get too overconfident like that, and tells Vegeta he needs to take this serious. But they don't really have any other choices. There's not many other strong warriors in Universe 7, at least ones that'll be good for this team. This team is pretty bad to begin with because it's full of evil people. Like, it's Vegeta and his army, and then Granola, who's not necessarily a bad person and probably the best on the team. But his motivations aren't exactly great. He's just trying to grow stronger to eventually kill Vegeta, and destroy the entire Vegeta force. He's a little bit misguided. They don't even consider reviving anyone either because it never comes to mind for Vegeta. He doesn't have access to Dragon Balls, and doesn't know about Baba, nor does he know about Whis being able to revive people. So, no one from Otherworld. He sends his army out to try and find a strong warrior somewhere. This will be good because it lets him find another recruit, and get someone new for the team. He even considers recruiting Tarble, but no way. He's going to be far too weak. He continues to shun his brother, which sounds kind of cruel, but it's for the best for Tarble, honestly. It wouldn't be good for him to get involved in this, especially with Vegeta being how he is. And eventually his soldiers come across someone pretty strong. When they tell him about this person, Vegeta doesn't believe it at first, but they tell him to come to a planet called Vampa. There, Vegeta meets another strong warrior, a fellow Saiyan. To think this entire time, another Saiyan's been alive, Actually, two of them. Paragus is here too, although he's pretty old by Saiyan standards. But Vegeta meets Broly for the first time. Although, that meeting is not really going to go great because, it's Vegeta meeting Broly and Paragus. Paragus has wanted to kill Vegeta for his entire life, so he sicks Broly on Vegeta. But then they come to learn that Vegeta's immortal, so Broly backs off before he loses control, and this just angers Paragus even further. He tells them they shouldn't blame him for what his father did. He's here to give them a new chance at life. They're fellow Saiyans, and they could join his army. Plus, Broly's pretty powerful. Would they rather fight him and die in the process, knowing that it's a losing battle, or would they rather have a better life, finally leave this planet, and start again under Vegeta's army? They're not going to agree that easily, but Vegeta adds something to it. He tells them about the Tournament of Power, and says that they should join him because if they don't, well, the universe will likely get erased. They don't really have a choice here because if they're going to want to survive, they need to join the Tournament of Power. At least Broly does. Paragus probably isn't going to join. It takes a lot of convincing, and Paragus and Broly still aren't going to get along with Vegeta, but they reluctantly join the Tournament of Power team, and they'll go from there and see what Vegeta could do for them to get them off Vampa. They're probably not going to work for his army, but they'll figure something out. And Vegeta knows they're probably not going to like him right away, so he'll figure something.
Ain't gonna lie. Besides conquering planets, I guess that's evil, but Vegeta really not hella evil in this bitch. I don't care.
Out later. Team Universe 7 is Vegeta, Granola, Broly, and then some random soldiers from the Vegeta Force who aren't particularly strong. Again, they couldn't really gather together anyone else. Shin even tried to find some other strong fighters in Universe 7, but there wasn't really many people to look at. There was Namek, and they could have gotten a warrior from there, but they declined because first of all, they didn't think they'd be able to help, and second of all, they weren't going to fight alongside Vegeta. They were pretty adamant about that. The only other options were people in the Galactic Patrol prison, which obviously they're not going to go for that. So what about Team Universe 6? Thankfully for Champa, he has more than enough people to pick from.
Yeah,
so for Earth's
his
Warriors,
team,
Goku,
Champa's
Gohan,
team
Piccolo, and
stacked.
Krillin. For the next 6
Hit.
fighters, he gets Kaba,
He got
Kale,
3
Cauliflower,
Saiyans.
Hit, Frost, and Vegeta. Honestly, Vegeta could be anyone else, but he'd probably be the last pick just because he's pretty defensive.
He can
If
play
no one knows his
Vegeta with
weakness,
them
he's not gonna
Namekians,
defeat.
but
Unfortunately, no bow to Vegeta though. But this is good. They have an abundance of people. They could have even gotten more warriors from Earth or other planets, but they didn't really need it. Especially because they have one ace up their sleeve, which is definitely going to guarantee their victory. The tournament begins, and it becomes clear right off the bat that Universe 6 is the strongest here. Well, besides Universe 11 at least, which we'll get to in a bit. Although Universe 7 has 3 particularly powerful warriors. For the most part, they're fodder, and Vegeta's army gets defeated pretty much right off the bat. Universe 7 loses most of its fighters right away. Vegeta does have one idea of how to win this tournament, and that's just to do a final explosion and knock everyone out of the ring. But that's kind of a last resort because, first of all, he might kill someone in the process and get eliminated himself, and also, he doesn't want to do it just like that. He wants to fight Kakarot again. This is his chance. So pretty much immediately, he goes to fight Goku. Moments after the tournament begins, Goku and Vegeta begin fighting. Goku isn't surprised to see him here again, and he's glad that they'll get to fight. But he's going to have to take this serious right off the bat. Vegeta showcases Super Saiyan Blue, and Goku showcases his own Super Saiyan Blue. Looks like they're on the same level now. While that fight's going on, Broly's fighting some other people too, eventually coming across the Universe 6 Saiyans. One thing of concern here is the fact that he doesn't have Paragus with him, which means if he goes berserk, he's going to completely lose control. He might even kill someone in the process. And knowing what's at stake here, plus the fact that he's basically forced to fight alongside Vegeta, he's pretty agitated already. I feel like at some point, Broly would go berserk, then transform, but only into Wrathful at first. Ironically enough, he's fighting the Universe 6 Saiyans right now, and they're not seeing his full power Super Saiyan form with the green hair because if they did, well, they'd realize that he's probably pretty similar to Kale in that regard. Broly starts raging and fighting them and they can't really do anything against him, so the Universe 6 Saiyans actually get knocked out pretty quickly. Then Toppo steps to fight Broly, because he seems to be a big threat and an evildoer. Goku notices the fight going on and he does want to fight Broly and help out the other Saiyans, but he can't. He's preoccupied with Vegeta. Broly starts fighting Toppo, but before he can do anything, a blast is then sent towards him, knocking him clean out of the ring. It was from Jiren. Before he could transform or grow even further, Jiren wanted to eliminate that threat, especially because he was probably going to kill someone in the process. He was clearly unrestrained. Toppo's a little bit nervous after seeing that, but thanks Jiren. Broly must have had more power than he realized for Jiren to even take him seriously. But Jiren goes back to meditating. Vegeta and Goku continue their fight. Goku's taking this tournament pretty serious here, and he also does have to pace himself and doesn't want to waste all of his energy right away on Vegeta. There's other warriors he wants to fight. He uses Blue Kaioken at one point, catching Vegeta off guard and knocking him out of the ring. This angers Vegeta to no end. Not only was he defeated, but he was basically ignored by Kakarot. He really wanted to just kill Kakarot here, but he knows that wouldn't have been a good idea. But this is looking bad. The universe only has one fighter left. It's Granola. Pretty much with no other option, Granola tries to fight Goku, but Goku dispatches him pretty quickly, knocking him out of the ring, and he's the one responsible for actually eliminating Universe 7, which he didn't really have a choice, but of course he feels bad about it. And as Universe 7's eliminated, he shares a look at Beerus. It's an expression he hasn't really seen from Beerus before. It's very solemn. He can tell that Beerus isn't happy about what's happening in his universe right now, and things have gone really bad. And obviously, his universe is being erased right now. As far as he knows, this is going to be permanent. Universe 7 isn't the first universe erased, but this one does hit close to Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin, making them even more serious than before. They watch on as Beerus is erased.
Haven't
Beerus
seen
then looks to
Gohan in
Champa
like
and says
4
nothing,
chapters.
but then looks back to Goku, telling him that he better win this. Goku may not be in Universe 7 right now, or even aligned with their team at the moment, but he's the last hope for Universe 7. He watches as they're all erased, with Vegeta glaring at Goku one last time. This isn't over. The 4 Universe 7 transplants are left in awe. Thankfully, the erasure doesn't affect them because the Super Dragon Balls did reassign them to Universe 6. So, even though they are from Universe 7, thankfully Zeno's erasure doesn't recognize them as such because of Super Shenron. Goku looks to Jiren for his next fight, and Piccolo says it's time to get serious. And Goku's already made up his mind. They're going to win this tournament, and once they do, they're bringing back Universe 7, and all the other erased universes for that matter. But they're going to have to erase the others to get there in the first place. And with that, we'll leave off here for now.
Okay. 2 fire chapters, man. We got 2 more chapters left. You know what I'm saying? Of this great story, man. Universe 6 and 7. What if Vegeta stayed evil? Universe 6 and 7. Part 6 and 7. What if Vegeta stayed evil, man? Make sure y'all check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video you might like right here. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Shout out to Saiyan. Like, comment, subscribe.